We are live.
Wait,
Sorry.
I'm still doing the countdown.
I know you studied words in school, but also numbers go like 1, 2, 3, not 3, 2,
Oh,
1.
is that how it goes?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, eh? Good.
All right.
Real
Um,
good. The most good. The good is good. The ever good.
okay, that's a bit much. Don't you think? It's a bit
Is
much.
it good?
It's a bit much.
Oh, not good.
A
Very
bit
good.
much. A bit much.
Oh,
Yeah.
Siri.
All right. We are back. I know it's a Friday. We're streaming on a Friday. First of all, no one cares. But for our future viewers who would deign to come watch this again, we are streaming today because tomorrow is going to be a good day. We are
Easy to get strangled.
Oh no! What? I'm going to strangle other people.
Recreationally.
Right. And he's coming over as well, so it's going to be a haul for him to drive like a couple
Not
hours.
get strangled, hopefully.
Hopefully not.
Good. Hopefully, watch.
I mean, you're gonna help me warm up and corner me, right? Like that's not.
No,
No,
I was
dude.
hoping to heckle. I was hoping to get like some popcorn and just chuck it at you.
Speaking of,
fun.
I'll tell you off stream this person's name.
Yeah.
I'll tell you off stream this person's name, but an old teammate of ours is actually gonna compete at that tournament as well.
Score.
Yeah,
Score.
I guess I can text you his name. Look at your phone.
Sweet PMA crew.
Yeah.
Vague enough, I suppose, right?
Yeah, I mean, what could PMA mean to anyone?
What's the parking situation gonna look like? Am I gonna have to go through hell?
Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
I know. So he's
a beast.
So he hit me up. He said it was basically asking because he saw I'm on the not roster. I'm on the card, I guess. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Can you corner me in case my person doesn't come? Because he's the only person coming from PMA." And so I was like, "Okay, for sure, I can corner you. But also, I mean, it depends on like what I have going on."
I don't know. When do white belt matches go? Well,
they go much later.
I guess for viewers who are extremely confused right now,
yeah,
we're talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes.
That should have been like the opening intro.
Yeah.
Because everyone's confused.
Yeah.
But
so
yeah, I was trying to go ahead.
Oh, the hierarchy basically for how those fights go are absolute usually goes first, so super early, and then it starts going by like pretty much rank. Like usually,
I remember the one we went to. Like purple belts went early.
That's right.
And blue belts, and
and because
it was the same for this.
Yeah, because for this tournament, about 1,000 people are signed up, right? And so
gravy.
And dude, this thing about it, they're gonna make so much money from that. Think about this. There's the competitors already paid the amount to compete, and that's almost 1,000 people, right? And it's $15 entry fee, spectator fee.
Yep.
And so assume that each person brings like a friend to come watch or something. Yeah. That's like $1,000 times 15 there. 1,000 people times $15 there. And then
I wonder what the parking's gonna be like. I'm actually kind of worried about that.
It's a high school.
I drive a truck.
True, and it's the cities, but it's a high school, so you should have enough, I think.
Well, I think I saw a couple of stores that were nearby.
Yeah.
So I might be able to just like sneak over there and tiptoe away.
Yeah. They're like, "Who drove this Ford F-150? We're telling you right now to go move your car." You're like,
how is that voice reaching all the way over here? It's incredible.
Like,
through like 15 buildings.
Or you see you just hauling.
Does the military know about this?
For like 30 minutes to go find your car. You're like, how did you? I'm not even gonna worry about that. Okay, so, big deal, I think, for this channel. We are gonna actually officially pick our name on stream. And get it all set up, hopefully. I guess what way are you leaning? I'm loving this like retro.
Yeah, 90s,
fun,
like 80s, 90s retro anime vibe. Even though we don't really watch it.
Yeah, I mean, but it looks so cool, right? It's kind of like it's a bit
cool,
zany.
right? It's yeah. very cyberpunk-esque.
Yes.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. So I would like something that goes with that. So I guess I'll give you. It's probably going to be awful for audio only stuff, but I'll give you about like 30 seconds to think of a name while I do so as well. And then we just reveal the name.
Crap, that doesn't give me a lot of time. I'm dumb.
I'm gonna cheat right now. So
you're cheating.
What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Like how am I gonna cheat right now? I guess come up with like 5 names each, so 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now we're currently thinking, for the listeners, we're thinking about names to choose.
Thinking hard. My eyes are bleeding with how hard I'm thinking. A little much.
A bit much. Yeah, this is probably not good audio, but you can enjoy the background music while we're at it, so there you go.
Yeah, it's that smooth jazz.
Stop. Dude, please,
jazz.
Whenever you try to be like suave or smooth,
just let these dulcet tones.
Stop. Can you stop? Can you stop? Can you just please stop? Oh my God, I will kick you off this stream, you nerd. Okay, look, I'm a straight guy. Okay, and so whenever you try to do your suave thing, it bothers me. It bothers me so much. Okay, so just please stop.
Sanj is incredibly uncomfortable with the male body.
Obviously.
Incredibly. Yes. Likes to be questioned sometimes.
Are you ready?
I got one name.
Okay.
I'm struggling right now. I was too busy messing with you to be.
All right. Okay. I have 15. I have 15 names. Now, the listener might be asking themselves, how did Sanj get 15 names in like 2 seconds? While we have good old Count here, I guess fun Count over here, only with 1. I'll have you know, big brains, okay? Sanj is literally big brained.
No, I just prioritize different things. I prioritize annoying the living crap out of you over actually doing my job.
I don't know how to feel about it.
I feel like it's a Ron Swansonism, though. I will work all night to make sure nothing gets done.
Again, I don't know how to feel about that, because part of me feels like, oh, that's good. He cares about me, because, I mean, in his own way, he cares about me, so he thinks about me all the time. Thank you. But also, it's like, my life is actively miserable because you're in it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
your point?
Pick your poison. Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready? I can start.
Yeah.
Neon Cybercast. There's 15 more of these. I can keep going if you want me to.
Oh, good lord. Thinking Beanie On.
Beanie On. Ooh, I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Because we almost always have a beanie on. Funny. How about zany cyber otakus? ZCO.
Zany cyber.
The Z-Cop podcast. The Z-Cop.
I don't think it rolls off the tongue well.
How about Z-Cop? Which is like Zany Cyber Otaku podcast. Again, there's more. So this could be a no. It could be like a harsh no. Okay.
It's gonna be all.
Anime cyberpunkers.
No.
Cyberpop podcast. Cyberpod. How about cyber junkies? All those are no's?
What? Yeah.
Okay. Ouch.
How about of otakus and men?
That's pretty good. Crap, that's good. I'm writing that down. It's of otakus and men. OOAM. Also, you gotta think this has gotta also look cool on a merch someday, because we're gonna make merch someday.
I feel like there's a lot we can do with that. Another one's one second, I gotta work on this.
How about zany zappers?
No.
Come on, it's so mean. God. How about?
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
In our basements.
In our basements. In our basements. Oh, so he's got to have like
in our closets. Well, that one.
That's too much. Yeah, no.
That bad, man.
That's too much.
We can't use anything in basements. There's already a big anime YouTuber called Mother's Basement who's got like 1 million subscribers. So we can't use basements.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're gonna get kicked.
How about this? Otaku Overload podcast. I see you're on the fence about this one. I'll put that as a good win in my book. Something finally moved you to the fence, because you're always far from the fence normally.
Yeah, you're always in the closet. So.
Jeez, can you not, dude? That joke is good. It's old already, dude. Every time you're on the stream, talk about the fact that I'm in my closet. Can you not?
About it.
Can you not, dude? God. For listeners online, he just did a Fortnite L dance. And he's in his mid-20s, going on 30, by the way.
Early 20s.
No.
Early.
You're closer to.
Not mid yet. You're pretty mid. But I'm not mid yet.
Remember last week I was like, "Oh, you're close to 25," and then now I'm like, "You're mid-30s." You just keep getting older every week. Okay.
By the end, people are gonna be like, "He sounds like a very nasally 50-year-old." It's kind of weird.
How about?
Yeah.
The Otaku Brigade.
That implies more than two.
Hey, it's a name.
How about duos and don'ts?
Ooh, that's a good one. Do's and don'ts. Oh, come on. How are you so creative about these? And I'm using ChatGPT, dude. God.
I have a degree in words.
And I'm using ChatGPT. That's how
I got it. Words and numbers.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Words and numbers. Okay. So we have 3 now. There's of otakus and men.
Mm-hmm.
Otaku Brigade.
I said no.
Come on. I'm going to sneak that one in.
You are so...
I was going to sneak it in. I'm going to sneak it in, okay?
Like a small child.
Okay, fine. I'm going to check that out. Of otakus and men.
Otaku Overlord sounds good.
Overload.
I'm just trying to... Overload. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. It kind of sounds similar to other anime podcasts. Is my only problem with it, actually.
I see. So you do like my idea, huh?
Yeah, I do. I'm trying to think.
We can call it a day now, guys. You gotta win.
Blend into the crowd, so to speak. You know?
Oh, you want to stand out? You mean? Okay, I guess what makes our podcast stand out to you?
Okay, I'm thinking here. So what makes us stand out? I'm trying to come up with the phraseology for this, right?
Okay.
We both have day jobs. We both are.
Speak for yourself.
We know that we were weebs, unless you I guess looked at our watch history, right? We don't have posters everywhere. We don't have figurines. We don't talk about it really with anyone else.
Right.
I literally do it in someone else's office, and you do it in your closet too.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's kind of almost hid closeted, literally closeted.
Yeah, but that's a gay joke, and they can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, Hidden weeb, crouching otaku.
Okay, think about the email address for that one, dude.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be hidden HWCO. HWCO. No.
How about Retro Cyber Funhouse? Okay, I'm gonna tell you what ChatGPT is giving me.
Okay? Are you using AI? I
mean, ChatGPT. I told you this. I can come up with. Okay, you ready? Cyber anime punksters. Anime podcasters unleashed. No. You're so naughty. Right. Retro Cyber Funhouse. Wait, I said that one. Zany Otaku Adventures.
Okay, stop using your AI.
Fine.
Stop.
Fine. I guess I'll be creative for once. God.
Yeah. Use your brain.
What are you, Yoda?
Have you ever told me the story behind that?
No.
So I had So in high school, I had a chemistry / biology, whatever professor, science professor. He got his PhD in
words.
What was it? Deals with animals. What is that? Not zoology.
Biology.
Veterinary science. Oof, digress.
That did not go where I thought it was going at all. Okay, good.
No. Good. But he had a professor in college one time who he raised his hand because he's like he just went over like a bunch of information. He raised his hand and asked a question about it. Like I'm not understanding how that whole process goes.
Mm-hmm.
And the professor looks at him. He's an Asian dude. Looks at him for a solid second and goes, "Use your brain," and turns back and keeps going. And
dude, that would not fly today, dude. Oh my god, that's good.
He's just lost. He's like, I didn't know what to do, so I winged it.
That's
true.
To
use my brain.
Okay, I will use my brain now. Okay. So I guess, in my opinion, what makes us? I guess, are you done with what makes us unique, or I guess what?
Yeah, I think that is our thing. Another thing. So we're I suppose relatively well adjusted, right? For the most part.
Again, speak for yourself, but
yeah. We come at it from a very intellectual angle.
That is true.
I think that's our thing.
That is true. And also,
two radically different fields, right? You're econ, not in the history and philosophy. So
right. I think I also think that there is at least the way I see this going in the future, like the more time we spend on this, we will actually bring our expertise to bear on it. So
yeah,
if I have enough time, say like Christmas vacation or something like that, I can actually spend time analyzing data.
Well, I feel like once we get like a couple of subscribers or viewers or whatever, we'll be like, yeah.
Yes, we can start like putting in more time and all that jazz into. I mean, we put in time now. Like I'm supposed to be doing laundry or whatever.
Still like we're bumbling into walls and it's Plato's cave all over.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing about setup. We'll have to figure it out later, but
oh well, we're getting better.
Yes,
but yeah, it took us 5 minutes to figure it out today.
True.
Yes.
So I agree with that. So I guess keywords. Just mention keywords.
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
Work in progress podcast.
Work in progress podcast. Ha. It's funny. Work in progress podcast. Okay, so
I can just call it work in progress and just call it whip.
Cause you're whipped. Oh, you walked into that one, dude.
Gonna be you tomorrow.
I don't know about that, dude. Oh, come on! Don't tell. God. I have
with a very pretty lady.
Yeah. Okay.
That was very unsure. Wow.
Oh, dude, okay. I feel awkward talking about this. Like, I feel very awkward talking about it. I'm not a feelings date love guy, you know.
It's not emotive, shall we say?
I'm not. I just want to like move on from that. Okay. The thing I love about whip is it doesn't. It's unassuming, so it doesn't pitch. For example, otaku overload is like, dude, it's like it's too on the nose.
We're painted into a corner.
Right.
We do a serious topic ever, like we're
right. Yeah, it's too on the nose. Yeah. And so I like this with work in progress, but I also feel like it's a bit too broad.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess the keywords that describes us: intellectual, right?
Intellectual. Hidden, or I guess unassuming.
Unassuming. I also think that we don't take ourselves too seriously. So like we can go here and wax philosophical about this, but it's always that underlying like.
But then we make a gay joke like 5 seconds.
Yeah, and also like we feel like it's almost like, oh, we just think about it. It was this grown men talking about anime, like that always.
Yeah.
That always seeps into every conversation about this.
I still will not admit to my parents what we talk about.
Right, exactly. So you're deeply closeted. Like, but
yes, I'm there.
Yeah, so I don't know how we even put about this. So not
we had the conversation where it's like, Kale, we know you're gay. I'd be like, oh, thank God, I thought you found out at the anime. Oh God.
Oh, dude, that's so funny. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, it's so funny. I'm just imagining. I'm just sitting here, just closing my eyes, imagining that whole conversation. Like you'd rather. Anyway, okay, let's get over that.
My poor parents would be like, failed. I'd be like, oh,
like we failed them.
You failed me elsewhere, parents, not there.
All right, intellectual, unassuming. What else?
Eccentric, maybe.
Okay.
So I remember with I don't want to say your name. Head of NSPA.
Yep.
She said we looked like those two characters from the Muppets.
Oh yeah, the Balcony Bros.
Yeah, Hey.
What?
Balcony Bros.
Dude. Also, now bow before me because I am that big brain. Balcony
It's probably taken, but let's try it. I write that one down. That's like a #1 contender for me.
Oh, dude, I'm glad you like it, man. Let's go. I'm feeling pretty good right now, man.
And if that's taken, we can do Balcony Bros podcast.
Okay.
I'm already seeing like a cool logo, actually.
Also, your logo game has stepped up, dude. Like I saw your logo for your website. Nice. Which, if you want to check it out, listeners, it is called
Crossroads History. Have fun finding it. It's so small, it's hard to find.
Balcony Bros, right? Not Balcony Brothers.
Yeah, Balcony
Brothers is too much of a mouthful. So, Balcony Bros.
Balcony Bros.
Okay.
But we can add a podcast at the end if the name's already taken or something like that.
Sounds good. All right.
I like that a lot.
Love it. Oh, I'm glad you like it. All right. So I think we can pivot now to where we're going to talk about this week.
Yeah. Let me check my notes.
Same. All right. So last week.
Joke's on me. I don't have any.
So
I'm kidding.
It'd be funny if it was actually a joke. I didn't mean to be that.
Comedy is in the eye of the beholder. You know what comedy is? You want to know that you love equations. Here is the actual equation for comedy.
Okay. I don't want to know.
Tragedy
Stop.
plus distance equals comedy.
Oh my God. How cliche can you be? God, someone stop this man. Like, no, thank you.
You gonna check me off the balcony, bro?
Oh my God. I hate you, dude. I freaking hate you. Sure. Cheers, fellow balcony bro. All right. I think I went last time, so you can go first again this time.
Yeah. Okay. We talked about last week.
Review.
Review. We talked about. I talked about how Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated one, live action, that could die in a hole.
Wow. Wrong take. Hot take.
Stronger if you want, but you don't want me to.
All right.
Had probably the best depiction of revenge and the cycle of violence, like in any animated probably most indie property actually. Like they did a phenomenal job. And so for that, I recommend, if you're gonna watch one episode from that series, I recommend the episode Southern Raiders in season 3. So that's all I'll say on that one for review. If you want the full monologue, go to last week's episode.
For mine, I just
the same thing.
Yeah, mine was, I was talking about Your Lie in April, and how that just basically, I felt like it was a letter to a young me about the importance of and value in music and art more broadly, but music specifically. So,
and I agree with you totally. I remember, I think I told you right after I watched the series, I was like, I'm gonna get serious about music,
right?
In the sense that I'm not gonna listen to trash. I'm gonna listen to stuff that's actually good.
Yeah.
And I, to a certain extent, still keep to that, but it like had a deep impact. I'm like, classical music, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good show. Like, just because it's animated doesn't change the fact that it's the storyline, I think, is enduring over time.
I think it's beautiful. And then one other one did we talk about? Did I talk about? I think
no, we just did ones.
Oh, just ones. Yep. Okay, yeah. So we got plenty.
Cool.
So, cool. Oh, which one should I go with first?
Attack on Titan. Is it on your list?
Okay, so a quick aside for that one.
Yeah.
I hate depressing shows to a certain extent.
Oh, do you?
So I struggle to get through.
It took you a year, dude, to get back into Attack on Titan from one episode. Oh my god, I just saw red right there, dude. And
Silence.
Tomorrow, as we go compete, just tell me shush, dude. I'm just gonna sorry for Mike warning.
You're gonna be losing on a lean over you and just go.
Oh, dude, I would
start killing people.
Dude, like Honey Badger, just like a bat out of hell, just coming out, just like footlocking everybody that I see. But
yeah,
all right, I don't want to get distracted.
Anyways, Attack on Titan, the jujitsu moves.
Yes, dude,
are legit.
They are.
Watching it, rewinding it, I'm like, that is so. Wow, sorry for anyone who saw that Mike peek. It was so good. I was like, what the heck? They knew how it worked. It was awesome to watch.
Right.
It was a good fight. And I'm like, I guess, like, if I was going against an opponent, I would be like, that's what I would do.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, like,
it was so good.
I was going to ask you, okay, I guess let me ask you now. Now that you've seen that jiu-jitsu scene, so jiu-jitsu has the problem of being a sport where the spectators are also the participants, right? So people that watch jiu-jitsu do jiu-jitsu, and they appreciate it more the more they do jiu-jitsu. I was going to ask you, like, for a public audience, so assuming no one in public audience, I guess the broad majority of people in public audience don't do jiu-jitsu, do you think they appreciated that scene as much as you did? Also, or do you think, like, I guess answer that question first, and I'll ask a follow-on question after that.
So, remember that show I recommended to you? I don't know if you ever finished it. It was March Comes Like a Lion.
I haven't gotten back into it, no. The one about depression,
it's
right?
Basically about, it's about depression and, what's the game? The
Japanese chess or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. I was there for basically the depiction of depression and how good it was. I understood nothing about the game because I've never once played it, and they didn't explain it well.
But did you enjoy it still?
I did enjoy the games. I skipped through the games because I'm like, I don't understand what's happening.
Interesting.
And I think jiu-jitsu has a similar problem in the sense that if you look at, for example, like UFC 1 or the first couple of UFCs where what was it, Hoist Gracie?
Hoist, yep.
Who was, he was fighting there, and because they allowed gis and stuff like that back in the day, he was able to just sit there and hold these guys down for 40 minutes. So if you see like the fight between Hoist Gracie and what was his name? Huge dude. Like, Irish or something like that. Whatever his name was.
Right.
It was a 40-minute fight, and it ended in a draw. It was the most boring fight you could ever imagine.
Even to quick comment on that real quick. So even now, more and more in Nogi Jiu-Jitsu, which is Jiu-Jitsu without the pajamas, competitors are pushing for a no time limit match. And I'm like, I'm here for it because I'm into jiu-jitsu, but I'm like, from a public consumption perspective,
From a public perspective,
it is
I'm
awful.
like, that's a worst move you can ever make.
Right. It's like, because literally, if there are no points scored, if it's just a pure submission grappling event and it's a no time limit, there's no incentive to do anything.
Hour-long matches.
Right.
Because you got some freaks of nature there who can do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
But it's like, you won't see like these spectacular moves unless you, and that's how like Gordon Ryan, who's the king of jiu-jitsu right now, right?
Yep.
That's how he popularized
leg locks,
jiu-jitsu as much as it has, because he's like, yeah, let's do submission only.
Right.
Let's go, pardon my French, balls to the walls to entertain people. And it's like, and he even has a persona that he puts off like a wrestler, and that is the heel.
Right.
And so he's done a fabulous job of that thus far. But I think jiu-jitsu struggles from the fact that it's too technical to properly like make mainstream. So UFC is easy to mainstream because it's people punching each other in the face.
Right. Now,
right?
obviously, there are technical aspects. Oh, that's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. Because like, with UFC, it has enough. So it does what I think podcasts do for Infowars and the general public alike. So Infowars with podcasts would just go directly for the informational portion of it, right? But general public would say, okay, I want to have a good time, a relaxing time, maybe even bond with someone else. I have a friend when I do my dishes or whatever. So it's like a piece of content serves both I guess segments of the market differently, right? So with the UFC, for example, people that spar, do jiu-jitsu, and do martial arts, they have a special appreciation for the UFC because they get to see like the top of the food chain fighters go at it, right? For how many rounds, however many rounds, I guess.
I think like 8 or 9. I
yeah.
remember.
I mean, it was boxing. It was like 30 or something like that, which is exaggeration, but it just goes on for way too long. But
lots of jokes.
yeah, stuff. Oh, dude, now it's in my head. Come on, you're a grown man. You're almost 40. All right. So, but general public can just get to see two people, punch each other in their underwear, basically. So,
yeah, effectively.
Yeah.
And now, and they also have like the technical aspect is they have like flashy moves that make it good too.
Yes.
Right. You have the roundhouse kicks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the ones where I'm in there for are like the last fight I saw was between Brian Ortega and Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah, that was wild, dude.
Yeah. It was good.
Yes.
And it was a bloodbath. So that's why it was so popular with the normies, I suppose, right? But then it was so technical because Ortega almost got Volkanovski in like
guillotine.
2 triangles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a guillotine and a triangle.
Yep.
If I remember correctly. And it's like, that was probably the most boring part for the regular person.
Right.
Like,
but we were on the edge of our seat, like, oh my God, it's so oh my God, it was beautiful, so tight. But okay, I guess.
Yeah, and we're just like, oh, you couldn't get it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the problem, is that it requires too much prior knowledge, shall I say?
Okay.
Or investment, shall I say?
Okay. So did it work, do you think, in Attack on Titan?
And
did it work? Was it exciting enough in Attack on Titan?
I was excited. I think it was exciting in the sense that it's a cool takedown.
Right.
But like what excited me most was like, for example, just prior to the Titans like doing it.
Whoa.
Annie and
the Titans are asexual.
I don't care. Between Annie and Aaron is when Annie took him down. The part where I was most impressed was that she maintained pressure.
Right.
It got into mount.
Right.
And that was a very odd point for me to focus on. But it was like, that's the deal breaker. If you don't keep pressure, they can just move.
That's right. That's right.
And so for me, that was the most important point, that she properly maintained pressure, got in the mount, and then also had the arm up high enough to get him into a head and arm choke.
Right.
That's the point where I loved it. Now, obviously, the takedown was awesome. If we were a better podcast, we would have a clip ready of it, but we weren't planning on this. that was cool too. But the main points were the technical aspects of it and how they managed to do it so well.
Okay, I agree with that. I mean, I think there's another one, just a part you see much later. I think it's later. I think that one worked really well because I do think specific submissions just look so good on camera. For example, a choke from the back, right? Even before you knew jiu-jitsu, every movie you've seen has the sneaky guy coming in and choking someone's sleeve from the back, right? The guillotine as well also has like it's kind of a cool factor, which is like basically choke someone from the front. And in Attack on Titan, that choke comes up, and I think chokes like that and like moves like that people can instinctively get, because when you start fighting someone who doesn't know jiu-jitsu, the first thing they do is grab your head, right? They take you to the ground and start headlocking you, basically. And so I think moves like that have that certain appeal to them do well in shows like that. But anyway, I just derailed you completely there. Back to your...
Completely, but it was a welcome derailment, so,
So back to your pick for an anime that changed your mind or perspective.
I gotta get back into the mode. I'm debating here. Okay, I think I'll go with My Hero Academia first. Actually.
Whoa, okay, that's kind of surprising. It's surprising because it's too popular. I want to see where you're going to go with this.
Okay, so the thing that caught me about My Hero Ac is that it fights so well against cynicism. So, like, season 1, for example, we're introduced to All Might. And immediately your thought is, because you've been inundated with Western content, is he's the villain. He's going to be like the ultimate big at the end. He's going to pretend to be the hero, and then in reality, he's going to be the big bad. And that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, he's earned his title. And no one else can approach him on it. They humanize him, of course, but he's still a hero. And in a sense, kind of a paragon that Deku has to, reach for, right? And it's a small point, but it's something I love, that it took the cynicism out of being a good person. That it addresses it in the show. So, for example, Ochaka wants to become a hero, and at least initially, to make money. And it's not really derided in the show. It's just like, that's a reality of life. You need to make a living, right? But it also presents other heroes like All Might and Deku and others as having kind of a more noble pursuit of it. It's wholesome in a way, And it kind of reminds me of like more original versions of Superman. That you can pursue these higher ideals without an ulterior motive. Just because you want to help people. Just because you want to be, a hero. And I really enjoy that.
Interesting.
I feel like there's way too much... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, actually, like, that rings very true to me. And I think that is definitely a huge way that the show almost subverts cynicism, or makes you confront your cynicism, and almost kind of like morphs into something else. Another way, I guess, add on to that, is you're caught up. Okay, you know what? It's an anime podcast. I'm going to spoil it. Spoilers ahead here, people. The way, like the amount of turmoil that Deku goes through, and everyone in MHA, in the academy, and Deku's mom go through. Pretty much all the heroes go through. But in the end, like when it's, I guess not in the end because it's not over. I'm not caught up yet, but up to where I am, it's like there's still like there's still an aspect of I want to be better. So, for example, Hawks. I'm pretty sure you've gotten to this part, have you? So, Hawks.
I'm not sure what you're referring to yet. So,
Hawks loses his wings.
News to me.
Okay, so anyway, he kills a villain who's actually an interesting character.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he kills twice.
Yes, he kills twice, and his stuff gets burned out. Anyway, so he survives, and he goes to the hospital, and now the hero society is falling apart. So he's in the hospital and he's like, he's reminiscing on his on his family and how and why he got into the, pretty much the secret society of the heroes, right? And why he's kind of like a spy kind of individual. And he had a crappy upbringing, which is pretty much the same for every single character on that show. But he has a really bad upbringing. His dad was abusive and to his mom, and he has to witness all that. And in the end, well, I guess I keep saying in the end, but what he takes from that is not to be cynical about the hero society, given what he's done. Contrasted with the lady whose quirk is to shoot from like a mile away. Well, that's such good aim, right? He's not cynical about hero society. He's actually almost more mature about it. Still choosing to be, okay, I'm going to choose to walk this path. It's almost kind of religious in a way, where it's like, the thing about religion, at least Christianity, is it doesn't tell you to be better before you can become religious. It tells you that in the path of you serving Christ is when you become better, is when you become righteous. All you have to do is just make the decision, and then you take the journey, you slowly become better, and you become more like Christ daily.
Like a Pearson point to add on to that is that don't compare yourself to others.
Right.
Compare yourself to who you were yesterday.
Exactly.
But to do that, you have to have some sort of ideal you're pursuing.
Right.
Because then you're just left in the void if you don't know like what you're supposed to do or how you're supposed to.
If you don't know what quote unquote better is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just really
why
good point.
People so often fall into the patterns their family has set for them.
Right.
For the fact that they don't see any other path forward. And it seems silly because it's like, well, your dad beats your mom. You don't like that.
Right.
So why would you do it to your wife?
Exactly.
But it's not that simple.
No. Yeah, things like that are so much more complicated than we try to, make it to be. But I like your point about like the show gives the characters every reason to be cynical. Right? Like almost in every case, yeah, you might not like it because they want to make the good guys to win in the end, because it's literally a show about heroes. But in every case, you kind of, when they go into the background of these villains, you see that I would be like, oh, I would be like that. But it's like, it's understandable that one can be this way. One can have this perspective. It's understandable that one can, go through what they went through and be cynical about life and all that stuff. But in the end, I think where they make the heroes shine is not necessarily the fact that they have quirks, because villains have quirks as well. Is the path, literally the path they choose, right? And the path they choose, to me, I mean, it's I think it becomes more mature when the hero society falls apart, because it takes away that gilded, aspect of the society, and he shows you like, okay, no, villains destroyed all this. We're heroes, and we're choosing, even though everyone hates us right now, to still act heroically. And I think that's a huge, almost not a cure to cynicism, but it's a hugely influential, and I think the best reaction to, combat cynicism, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of a Rudyard Kipling type point where it's like, you're truly a man if you can pick up all the things you've built up over time, even though they just all falling apart around you.
Right.
And just go back to work without a word of complaint.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Good pick.
Yeah. Yeah. Your turn, I suppose.
True. For me, Attack on Titan, and which is pretty obvious. I think this is what last week.
Shocker of shucks. Oh my gosh.
So, I've been thinking about this a lot recently. It's almost it goes to the question of who technically owns the future, right? You could ask yourself, I guess one could posit that people that actually have an influence on the future in a way own it, right? Because I can't have influence on something if I don't own it. It's like I can't move my arm if I don't own my arm, something, right? Own, broadly defined. Actually, I would take a softer version of that argument, where like you can't influence something if you don't own it. But you get my point. there has to be a certain there has to be a self having an effect on something, and your effect on that thing is what I'm calling owning, right? So, and in a very real sense, one could say that, you know, the future, like the children of the future, or something, which is true, but the contrapositive of that, or I guess the opposite of that, is that our ancestors are the past, or something, right? So when we look forward, when we look at the biggest like shift, revelation. I try to explain this without actually saying what actually happens, but the biggest revelation in the show. I remember just sitting like they just pulled the rug out of under me, because I was like, if the father isn't really acting in his own, according to his own desires, if he's acting in a way for his children in more ways than one, that more ways than one is heavy, by the way. When you watch it, you understand what I mean by that. You didn't almost ask, like, it almost feel like, in a way, like that you're working for nothing per se, because the buck has to stop somewhere. If the father was for the child and children of the future, then it's perpetual, right? It's like, who is the future?
It's kind of It's a Wonderful Life type point. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie.
I've not.
So I highly recommend it. It's classic for a reason, and it's one of those classics I think everyone should watch. But the main plot of the movie is that... Oh, what's his name? Let me look up this. The main character of it.
Okay, I can look it up for you. Go on.
Oh, I got it. 1 second. So the main character is named it's played by James Stewart, and his name is George Bailey, right? And he goes throughout his entire life. He has to basically forego what he wants in order to help and take care of the people around him. So first, his father, dies young from a stroke, and he's forced to put off college to take care of the family business. And he lets his brother go to college first. This is all made back in the 1940s, by the way, so old film. And then his brother comes back only to find out his brother's gotten married and wants to move to New York. And so he's like, fine, okay, I'll still take care of the family business. And the family business is a local credit union, and therefore when the when the run on the banks happened in 1929, right? He manages to hold the whole town together by basically convincing people not to run on the bank. And so throughout his entire life, he is foregoing what he actually wants, which is to go and become an engineer and to go out and see the world and all that stuff. But here he is, stuck in some podunk town, having to run a struggling, failing business in order to effectively keep the town afloat, because all their money's in there, right? And he effectively one night snaps after a relative of his loses a bunch of money that the bank needs, and he basically is prepared to kill himself.
Right.
And one point that was brought up about from a show from a YouTuber that I highly recommend, Empire of Minds, was that
second that recommendation, by the way. I second that recommendation.
Yeah. So good. George Bailey, throughout his entire life, did his duty without any of the passion for it. And because of that, that's why he basically broke. Because he didn't really want to do it. But he's commended for the fact that he did it anyways.
Right.
But he took all of it onto himself without any desire to take it on yourself.
Right.
And so, which in a sense, sometimes you have to do this.
Right.
Christ did not actually want to die on the cross.
Yep.
He pled with the Father to not go there, but his will be done.
Right.
But over time, you need to actually have a desire and a willingness and a love for what you're doing.
Right. Yeah, I fully agree with that. Like I guess this is why. This is how this show changed my perspective, because I was like, look, everyone in that show do things for the future, the people, someone else.
Yeah.
Right. And when you ask them, okay, why am I doing this? Some of them might be like, oh yeah, I love, I just want to kill them all, to quote Aaron. I want to kill all the Titans or whatever. But the further the show goes, the more his motivations morph and change. And then you realize his motivation fundamentally comes down to he's doing it for other people.
Yeah, and it's like it's a C.S. Lewis point to his. Sorry to interrupt you, but it's a C.S. Lewis point of like he brought up the example of a lifeguard. He goes, it may be good that a lifeguard is willing and trained to be able to jump in the water and potentially die to save a drowning man. But it's not good for him to live for that drowning man. It may be good for a man to die for his country.
Right.
But it's not good for him to live for his country.
Right. That's right. That's exactly right. Because how do I make this point? I'm not saying don't do things for other people, right? But the way this show, at least in my perspective, is that it almost gave a more sophisticated view on do something because you love it. Find what you love and let it kill you, kind of stuff. Because truly, it's almost a moral case, because the road to hell is paved with what's the word? Road to hell is paved with good intentions. But it also paved with bad intentions, right? As you all know. But it's like, but in the case of the show, like not it could be avoided, but everyone has good intentions, so to speak. As the show goes on, the ultimate thing, the device that the show uses a lot to push the plot is basically ignorance is bliss. So as long as you don't know anything about X, you can make X the villain. You can input all the evil things on X, right? But when you find out about X, you're like, oh my God, I get it now. This makes sense to me now, right? And as you go on further the show, you see how they view Reiner further on. The case they make, sorry, spoiler here, is like, oh, I'm just like you. Like I'm like I've done pretty much either the same or worse than what you've done. And the reason I say it changed my mind is because
Which is funny, because early on in where I'm at right now, he says of Reiner and Berthold, there has never been anyone worse than those two.
Right. Which
is a very cogent point, because I know what Aaron goes on to do.
Yeah. And so what I'm making here is that in a relationship where sacrifices are made, it is your moral responsibility to have a view and also what it is that you want. Because it's better you than someone else, because the buck has to stop somewhere. Because if I'm doing good for you and you don't get to feel good unless you do good for someone else. Now, I'm not saying do good for someone else. Don't get me wrong. Do good for everyone else. But in a real sense, it has to be like, okay, this is what I want, right? And hopefully that's shaped by you're shaped by.
I think everyone's granted the right to be a little bit selfish.
Yes, that is my case right there, and that's how you change my perspective on it. Because in relationships,
and it's a very Christian view, actually.
Go on.
Because it's like this is opposed to, for example, to a certain extent, Judaism and Islam. The road for a Christian is a lonely one.
Yes.
You might have to lose your family doing it.
Right.
As blunt as that is.
Christ said so. Yep.
Islam and Judaism, though, are the community is intrinsically connected to the faith.
Right. Right.
Now, it's not to say there's no community in Christianity where two or more gather.
Right.
Christ is there.
Yep. Don't forsake the gathering of the brethren, as it says.
Yes. But Islam, so much of the religion is centered around the community, right? And in Judaism, so much is centered around the community. As Judaism is both a religion and an ethnicity.
Right.
It's so much tied into the community, right? But Christianity is fundamentally different,
right?
In that sense.
Yeah.
And so, upshot, you do not have to take on the sins of your community. Downside is you have no one else to blame.
Right. That's true. Yeah. And so, because you have no one else to blame.
Welcome to a religion podcast.
Yeah. Because you have no one else to blame, it is incumbent upon you to know your motivations and truly know your motivations, right? And let what you want kind of not be dependent on what the other person wants, so to speak. Right? Which is why I guess to bring back to religion, it's like the Bible says you shall love the Lord, you shall have no other God beside me. Because truly, that is having another God. You're basically saying, okay, my desire is to please you. My desire is for all your wants and all your needs to be gone. And it's like, no. Like your perspective must be, I want to do what God wants me to do. And if you think God is wrong, that's a whole different conversation.
Take it up with him, I suppose.
Exactly. It's like
kind of to take it to politics a little bit. This is kind of Solzhenitsyn's point, right? He criticized Shakespeare's villains for the fact that they embraced evil for evil's sake. But Solzhenitsyn was like, look, they never amounted to more than a dozen bodies because of that. What they really needed was ideology.
Right.
And this, if you look at AOT particularly, all of its ideology.
Yes.
Yeah. All of its propaganda, all of its seeing the other as somehow lesser. And I think I made this point before in an earlier conversation at some point. To go to war, you must become a bigot in a very real sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Because you must see the other person as fundamentally so inhuman that you can shoot them.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what I learned.
That's not to say you shouldn't either, because it's like sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
Right.
But that's the ultimate tragedy of it.
Yep, I fully agree. That's what I learned, and that
went hard. By the way,
that did go hard. Yeah, both of them went hard. That's an interesting perspective on the show. Cynicism and war, I guess, or cynicism and religion. Haha.
Yeah.
So another week
you're
is
not gonna hide who we are.
Can't hide it. That was fun. Do you have any other thing to say or add before we end the stream?
I have a couple more shows, but we're pretty much out of time, I think. Unless you want to go one more.
I want to go do some other stuff and get some sleep because tomorrow's comp, as you do.
You hate this show. Wow.
Okay, that's a leap. Okay, that's a minor leap. Okay, question for you. Do you want to continue this topic again next week? Or would you rather go to different
totally down doing it, but I don't know if you are or whatever you want to do.
I'm down to do it. I'm down to do this because I have 3 more to go.
Yeah, I have 2 or 3. I could probably come up with more.
Also, not to burn out this topic, but I think if it's a ripe topic, might as well exhaust it, right?
I mean, we just had a wide-ranging topic about anime, so I don't see a problem with that. It's an anime podcast.
It is an anime podcast, so
we can talk about.
Next week, we're back again on the topic of change. We'll try to change the thumbnail. Or might keep it the same. Who knows?
I like the thumbnail personally.
So do I. And I like the background. Everything's looking new. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the episode. We hope to make things better. And don't forget, we have the Balcony Bros. We are signing out now.